Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life. Now, today's episode is going to be the first of a 3-part series. Super important, overwhelming demand. I've been asked to discuss this for weeks now, whereas individuals are literally contacting Acupuncture is My Life, disappointed that we have yet to do what was requested by many, a podcast discussing symptoms of viral infections. So this podcast will be the first of 3, in which I can understand, because there are quite a few symptoms that I will discuss, and some of them many individuals do not tie to it actually being a symptom of a viral infection. So I'll discuss those, but I'll start out with the basic ones, because many individuals are unaware, like viruses are really tiny, microscopic type of agents that exist inside of living cells. And these cells are considered host cells, and they need these cells in order to reproduce and replicate. Now, we live with trillions of different types of viruses inside of us already, and millions or billions of different strands of bacteria, and without these organisms existing inside of us, we don't exist. We can't exist. Now, you have some of your more common basic viruses like the common cold, the flu, pneumonia, but a lot of times being infected by a virus, it can pass, and some of us may not even realize we've been infected with a virus because we're very healthy. We take care of ourselves. We see an acupuncturist on a regular basis, along with annual visits to our physician. But there are individuals whose immune systems are not that strong, whether it's due, in most cases, to a pre-existing condition, chronic illness, autoimmune disorder, cancer, or just the fact that we just flat out eat junk food, eat processed foods, fast food, don't exercise, sit around all day, and sleep. And if you've listened to many of our previous podcasts, we speak against that. Okay? But you see, viruses, if not kept under control and they hang around too long, can be deadly. So I don't recommend you take a virus lightly. You know, some will say, oh, I'll get the flu, I'll get whatever, even a common cold. It can metastasize into something more serious, depending on your health, which is why I say over and over, see an acupuncturist on a regular basis. And it doesn't have to be every week or every 2 weeks. It can be once a month, once at the change of a season. That is determined between both your acupuncturist and yourself. But one of the more common symptoms of a viral infection is fever. And it doesn't have to be high. It can be a mild one. You can feel yourself and notice, wow, I'm feeling a little warm. See, this all depends on the type of virus in which you've been infected by. But usually it'll start out mild, and you'll hope it stays that way, and then it eventually passes. But there are times where it'll get worse. When symptoms persist, the temperature, your fever will go up in temperature. And you have individuals who've experienced, let's say, even 105 degrees Fahrenheit as a result of being infected by a virus. And you see, to an acupuncturist, we understand this high temperature as a sign that your body's protective chi is engaged in an attempt to ward off an exterior pathogenic factor, in this case, a virus. And the stronger your protective chi is, relative to you being really healthy, and if you're infected by or have been affected by a strong pathogen, in this case being a virus, more times than not, you're going to have a high fever. Because that battle between your chi and this pathogenic factor is going to go hard. And that's what's going to raise your fever. Now, if you are seeing an acupuncturist on a regular basis, I won't even say that. If you catch it in its acute phase and you run to see an acupuncturist, they would look to support the body's defensive chi with either acupuncture or herbs to potentially prevent the fever from getting too high, and your body basically dispersing or dispelling this pathogenic factor. Because if your fever becomes too high, it can cause it can cause other health concerns. So you really want to keep your fever under control by seeing an acupuncturist. Another symptom can be muscle aches. Because normally when you're affected by a virus, it's common to experience muscle aches, especially if you've been affected by the flu. You'll feel muscle pain all over your body. And there'll be moments where you'll feel as if you can't even move. But what can cause these muscle aches depend on the type of virus in which you were infected by. You see, when it comes to muscle aches to an acupuncturist, this is an indication that the exterior pathogenic factor, in this case a virus, has begun to obstruct the muscles, the joints, and the channels. So in such a situation, an acupuncturist may look to unblock this obstruction in the collaterals, dispel any wind, cold, heat, or dampness that has begun to develop internally. You see, the most important thing you can do if you're suffering from muscle aches is to see an acupuncturist immediately. Now, another symptom can be cough. Cough is another common symptom someone may have after having been affected or infected with a virus. You can have a raspy cough, a dry cough. You can even experience bouts of wheezing. Many individuals infected with a virus will have or present with a productive cough where they're bringing up yellow phlegm. This is a sign of heat dampness, of other signs, to an acupuncturist. You see, a cough can persist depending on the type of virus that you've been infected by. You see, to an acupuncturist, cough is a sign that the defensive chi of the lungs have been weakened and the virus has begun to inhibit the dispersing and descending functions of chi, lung chi to be specific, therefore causing you to cough. Now, to get a better understanding of this is why I recommend you follow us on every social media platform under Acupuncture is My Life. Because you can simply go to the Acupuncture is My Life YouTube channel and watch the episodes on the functions of the lung to get a much more clearer understanding of how the lung functions to an acupuncturist. And when it becomes adversely affected, in this case by an exterior pathogenic factor, the descending and dispersing functions of the lung's qi are adversely affected, and you'll present with cough, among other signs, as well as shortness of breath, but in this case, cough. You see, if your cough is persistent for more than a week, it's a good idea to go see an acupuncturist right away, so they can look to release this exterior pathogenic factor and nourish lung qi, whether it's with acupuncture or an herbal formula, or even both, depending on the severity, depending on the person's constitution. As I say over and over, everyone's constitution is different, so no treatment protocol is identical to the next person's. Now, another symptom of a viral infection can be sore throat. This is not an uncommon symptom, because there are many viruses that cause a person to have a sore throat, such as the flu, common cold, pneumonia, even COVID. See, a person experiencing a sore throat to an acupuncturist is a sign of, let's say, wind heat having affected the protective level of the body, whereas an acupuncturist may put together a treatment protocol to dispel the exterior pathogenic factor and disperse the wind heat. See, when your throat is sore, that's a sign of internal heat, because wind as a pathogen, because wind carries all types of viruses in it. And I've stated this on the Acupuncture is My Life YouTube channel episode discussing exterior causes of disease and wind. This is how sometimes, whether you're indoors or outdoors, if someone is sick and they're talking, what's carrying this virus? The wind, the air. So an acupuncturist will call it, in this case, a sore throat, wind heat, because when your throat is sore, it's a sign of internal heat having developed. Now, if you notice you're having a chronic sore throat and it feels like you have something stuck in the back of your throat, this can be serious. I mean, as serious as oral cancer, this can be serious. Because a sign of a persistent sore throat, we can say chronic, is an indication that something is wrong and you need to see an acupuncturist right away. And if you need to see a doctor after that, based on an acupuncturist's findings, they'll recommend you see a physician. We work closely with physicians. Now, another sign of a viral infection is headaches. And headaches aren't exclusive to viral infections, albeit they are annoying though. And many times you just want to just rest your head and close your eyes for a few and hope that it just goes away after a certain point in time, after a certain amount of time. But headaches can be the result of different things, many different things. It's an indicator, of course, that something is wrong. But if it persists, it can be a symptom of a viral infection, such as, again, the flu, COVID, common cold, pneumonia. You see, to an acupuncturist, wind is a main pathogenic factor in this case, because wind is yang. Yang is anything that's moving and active. So wind is yang in nature, and along with that, it serves, as I previously stated, the carrier of many diseases, mainly viruses. And with wind being yang in nature, it usually attacks the head first. And wind combining with cold, attacking the head can congeal qi and blood, causing this congealed qi and blood to obstruct the collaterals, causing headache. Now, wind can also combine with heat, which tends to flare upwards and disturb the upper orifices, causing headache. Wind can also combine with dampness, which tends to block the flow of qi, causing a headache as well. And an acupuncturist may look to dispel this wind combined with cold or heat or even dampness. And to really get a thorough understanding as to how this all works, go to the Acupuncture is My Life YouTube channel and watch as many episodes as you can. So much you'll learn. And you would really understand how you can benefit from acupuncture. And you'd really get a thorough understanding as to why I constantly say you must make acupuncture a part of your life. Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?